Hey friends, welcome back to Moxie Gardens. Today we're going to be planting up 2 whiskey barrels. I'm super excited to kind of wrap up. I've been talking about this for a while, but I have been waiting for the box stores to kind of start to get to June where they start pricing out their stuff and getting rid of it. And so today I ended up with some beautiful begonias, but I got it on a cheap deal. You see how you can see that in there? One side was kind of rolled up on. That's okay, we'll plant these up, give it the pretty side out, and let the rest of it catch up. But in doing so, that's how I end up getting some of these cheaper deals, especially on annuals. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money because it's a brief moment, right? I get to keep those until about October, so and then I got to start all over. So I'm always looking for a discount and a budget-friendly deal. But I'm gonna add in a pop of color in some of these spaces. And these 2 whiskey barrels that I've got, they kind of tuck back a little bit, and it just gives a subtle little hint of color. So when you're kind of walking through, these are going to be buried back in the garden. You've seen, if you've been following me for some times, you'll see that that's how I kind of do the garden. I'll have different spots that are tucked way back, and so that gives the illusion that you haven't got to see everything, and you probably haven't got to see anything. You can wipe the illusion part out of it, but as you go through and you're touring this garden, you can kind of see how there's just layers after layers after layers, and it really makes you want to watch it again or tour the garden again. And so maybe these are some ideas you can implement into your garden, but I like to tuck it back into the more mature shrubs and trees. So that being said, we're going to plant these 2 up. I've got to drill a couple holes in the whiskey barrels at the bottom because these whiskey barrels were made to hold liquids, and so it will not drain. Therefore I will have root rot. So I'm going to get those holes drilled in, then I'm going to backfill with some potting soil, and then we'll get these planted in and see if we can just add a hint of color into the garden as we continue in, what is this, middle of June. So that being said, let's get started. Okay. Okay, in just like 8 minutes time, I was able to drill the holes in these whiskey barrels, drop some soil in, put these begonias, hide the bat nasty on the back side, give it some time and they'll grow into it. Not to mention in the backdrop here, I have a limelight hydrangea that's kind of flirting with the edges, and it'll kind of fill in some of these spots here. You can just barely see some of the whiskey barrel, and I love that. I love that little hint of hardscape intertwined with all the different foliage and stuff. So I think that gives it a nice little story to the garden. I've got a guacamole hosta here, and then I've got some coleus here, and then in the background I've got the birch trees. So got plenty of shade. Might not even see very much sun. If so, it's going to be a little dappled sun in the evening. But this one whiskey barrel, 8 minutes talking to you, maybe 2 minutes. So all in all, 10-minute project, and I think it turned out great. Then we'll hop over and plant up the next whiskey barrel and call it a day. Okay, and just like that, these sun impatiens popped in. I would say probably another 8 minutes, but I think it turned out well. Again, go down to your local box stores and see what goodies you can find, and you know, drop a comment in and share with others. Anybody who's watching this, maybe you have luck somewhere that other people are overlooking, and or some ideas where you can catch a budget-friendly type project. But let me come over there, we'll kind of walk it through, and I think it turned out great. Okay, so I went ahead and I watered stuff down, and they're sitting right back here, but I thought we'd start from this angle, kind of give you a view, especially if you are just joining this channel. We're just going to make our way this way, and you can see just the subtle little change it made. And I don't, you know, it doesn't always have to be in your face, but you can see how subtle it is, and it just adds another layer, and it's lifted up off the ground, and you can kind of see the whiskey barrel in there. Again, it's wet, and I have I just watered it down, like I said, and I have some sprinklers going. But if we come over here, those impatiens look good, give us some color here. Let's come back this way. I'll share with some of these lilies that are in here. But just adding different layers to the garden. It's a lot of fun. And this area right here is just an explosion of color all the way through. Just a lot of fun. And these birdhouses, someone had mentioned about the heat and stuff. Those birdhouses have never been used. They're too low to the ground. I don't think any bird's ever gonna build its nest in there. But looky here, look how just, I think it just adds so much to that. And plus they were empty anyway, so it's definitely gonna add something, right? But you can see all the different colors and stuff, and I think that's the only white. Nope, I take that back. The Annabelle hydrangea. But as far as like an annual color or any other kind of whites in here, that's it. So little pinks, yellows, purples. There's just a lot going on in here, and it's subtle. Does that make sense? It just looks so good. Everything just kind of has its own little pocket, and I think it just adds a lot to this piece of the garden. And all of that was done, what, 20 minutes? Not even 20 minutes. But when I share a project with you folks, a lot of times it might not be the big grand project, but it's over time. So when I share this project with you, these projects build up over time, right? They build up character, and they kind of grow into their space. So when I share with you guys like the front sidewalk project or the front landscape project, today it probably looks a little bare and stuff, but as time goes on, so will the ideas and the overall involvement to each one particular space in the front garden. And like if I just showed you this garden in the beginning, there was no trees, no fencing. I've said that a ton, right? But if I had just shared that with you folks in the very beginning, and was like, hey, I'm going to start doing something with my yard, and we're starting from blank, it would probably been overlooked, right? So we have to kind of have an imagination a little bit when we start creating these projects. So the reason why I'm saying that is like this whiskey barrel, you know, it may not seem like much, but over time it just continues to evolve. So this year might be just you know, that particular annual, or over here might be just that particular annual. Then with comments and people share different things, and then of course my kind of like weird vision and ideas on how I build a garden, these type of things materialize, and then I can grow from there, and next year it might be completely different. And that's how all these ideas in the garden continue to grow and manifest, because I'm constantly trying to evolve and push the limits in gardening and learning. So a lot of words just to explain a whiskey barrel, but yeah, I think it turned out well. I think the garden is just, it's just a happy place right now, and I'm just so excited to how far we've come in this garden. So that being said, I did hit 10,000. So exciting. So that's cool. Thank you guys for hitting the like and the subscribe and the shares and everything. So I'm going to ask for the same. So if you want to continue your journey with me in this backyard, then hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let's continue to grow together. Thank you guys for watching my 10-minute little video here, or maybe it'll end up being longer, I don't know, but all in all, we've got a lot to share, so we'll talk to you folks soon. Bye-bye.